Hey folks, welcome to another update. And once again, I am down for another week. I'm now at $747. This is the lowest I've been since the second week of starting this challenge. So last week I was at 1036 and now I've gone down $288. So I'm right here. And as you can see, I have a lot of catching up to do. My goal is this yellow trend line here. As you'll remember, last week I wanted the stock to finish between 105 and 91. That was my short strangle strategy. And indeed, Google finished the week on September 30th at around $95. So that's right in line with this red downward channel. And the stock finished down last week at a multi-year low. I'll have to go back to 2021 to see another point where the stock was at the $95 level. Now, today, the stock is up quite a lot. It's up 2.71%, so we're back above $98, which is this green candle right here. So by the end of this week, which is 4 days away on October 7th, that's what this blue dotted line represents. And I'm just trying to figure out where the stock is going to go from now until then, so I can place my call option and my put option prices. For my puts, I think I want to split that up. I'll have one at around the $95 level because we did find support there last week. So that could be a low. But I also want to have another put at the $91 level because if this red channel continues, then there's a chance we're going to maybe come back and retest that level. So 91 seems to be a good place of support here, at least until the end of this week. And for my call options, the EMA is coming down as well. So that is a good sign. It means I can write call options, covered calls, at lower and lower prices without worrying too much about them getting filled. So right now the EMA is at 102. So I'll probably set a call option price target at around 103. Now, in terms of how low I think Alphabet can ultimately go down to, is around the mid 80s level, so 85, 86, somewhere around there. Because if I switch this stock chart to logarithmic, I can click this down here, toggle log scale. And then if I zoom out, this will give a much smoother line of what the stock is doing. I'll just move this put out of the way for a second. And if I zoom out to as far as it will go, and let me just change the bars to 1 month so we can filter out all the noise. Okay, so here's what the log graph looks like for Alphabet stock. It IPO'd in 2004, so it was quite volatile there. But for the rest of the time, you can see it's been pretty much on an upward trend fairly consistently. And if I were to draw a trend line from the lowest points, let's say from here, and touch this point here and just extend that all the way across and back here, you can see during the great financial crisis, Google fell and touched this trend line here before bouncing back up. And it basically stayed above this blue line all the way until 2020 during the shutdowns and everything. And then we had a quick recovery there, basically just 1 month of decline. And then the next month we were back up. And then we continued to trend above this blue line. And that takes us to this year where we're falling. And you can see we are approaching again this blue trend line here. So that's why I think this is the lowest that the stock can go. Over the last almost 20 years, there's never been a time where Alphabet has fallen below this blue trend line. And if I draw a channel since the beginning of this year, just to capture all of these ups and downs, we can see by the time we hit this blue line, which might be sometime in November, this support is going to be around $84. And that's the case if we hit the bottom of this channel. But we can also be at the top of this channel, which might be over here, and that'll take us to around today's price, $98, $99. So we can be like here, or here, but pretty much around the mid 80s is what I think the lowest point Google can fall to, at least this year. Now, if for some reason we break this blue line and Alphabet falls below this to like $70, then something seriously would have to go wrong in the economy first, I think, for that to happen, because we would have to see basically earnings pull back 20-30%, which I don't think is going to be the case moving forward. Like things would have to be worse than 2008 when the whole financial system was at risk of collapsing. And another reason why I think the mid 80s could be the bottom for Alphabet is because if I switch back to the regular chart here and I change the bars to a weekly graph, Basically, from the lows of 2020, if I do a fib retracement from there all the way until the top, you can see that the 618 line, which is this one right here, is at $87. And usually that is going to be a area of strong support, because if it falls below that and we get to the 786, then we could go all the way back down to the 2020 lows. But in a correction, stocks usually correct back to 618, or at least consolidate there for a while. You can see on the way up at the end of 2020, there was some consolidation here. So I do expect to see the stock either bottom around here, or if things are really, really bearish, then it should at least go sideways for a bit before falling to lower levels. So that's why for now, I don't see Alphabet dropping to the 70s. So I'm going to bring my put line back down. I'll put this at around 91, but I'm going to have another put up here that's a little bit higher at 95. So I'll basically have two puts, and then I'll have my call maybe at 103, depending on how the premiums are doing. I'll make this one a little bit lighter. So my split short strangle will probably look something like this. Let's take a look at the option chain for Alphabet and see what kind of premiums we can get. The IV is a little bit reduced this week because the stock has gone up, but I think I can still make about $200 in premiums this week. So at 95 here, I am going to sell one put, and then at 91, I'm going to sell a couple of puts, so that'll be two puts there. And I can double the contract because this strike price is farther away, so there's lower risk of Alphabet hitting $91 by the end of the week. As you can see, there's only a 6% chance based on the delta there. And then on the call side, it looks like 103 has a delta of about 12%, so that's pretty good. And I can get $24 for that. And in order for me to make this more balanced, I'm going to put 3 here. So this way I have 3 calls and I have 3 puts, and all my calls are covered. So if Alphabet for whatever reason jumps up to like $150, I'm not going to lose any money. I would just be missing out on a lot of money instead, but hopefully that won't happen. So if I go down here to the price I want to pay for these, it looks like 150 is in the middle. I'll go with 151, submit my order. So here's pretty much what I have: 1 short put at $95 strike, 2 short puts at 91, and 3 covered calls at 103. Let's drop this down to 148.
Order filled.
Okay, so if I go to my trades, they are all right here. So the basic plan is this: if Alphabet comes down and hits my $95 put strike, I am just going to let it get assigned, and that is going to lower my ACB. Right now, my average cost is $107, so if I can buy it at 95, that is really good. I currently own 300 shares at 107, and if I can buy another 100 shares at $95, then I would have 400 shares. So it would lower my ACB from 107 to 104, which is pretty good. If it drops all the way down to 91, I would probably close my put positions before it gets to there. And with 103, I don't think it'll reach that high because that is where the EMA is. But if it shoots really high above 103, I'll probably buy back my positions, or I might let one contract get called away, depending on the momentum of the stock and what the market sentiment is doing at that time. So I do expect to make a gain this week as long as Alphabet holds above the $95 level, because assuming all the options expire out of the money, that's $148 minus the commission is $145 US, and right now we're looking at 1.37 is the conversion rate. So that'll be about $200 of net premiums. Hopefully this downtrend ends this week, and I'll give you guys another update next week. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.